Hey there, Alan Matthews here from Classical Guitar Shed, and in this video we're going to be talking about unity and what it is and how to use it in our music. Now this is a little bit more advanced of a concept. This is about sculpting our classical guitar pieces so that they're more cohesive, they sound more beautiful, they make more of a single musical idea. So if you're just starting out, then this might not be the best, it might not be the most useful video for you right now. In that case, please find something else good. And if you're game, let's jump into unity. So what is unity? Unity is whenever we have something in a piece, then we handle it the same way or similar way throughout. So what does this actually mean? So whenever we have a piece of music, whenever we're playing a piece of music, what we're doing for our listeners is creating a little mini reality. We're creating a little world. And perhaps the easiest example would be different time periods. If I'm playing a Renaissance lute piece, then I'm kind of setting a particular scene, just like in a movie. I'm setting a particular scene, and so then everything that happens within that scene ideally supports that, and that's unity. If all of a sudden, if we're watching a Renaissance movie, it's set back in the Renaissance, and all of a sudden an alien comes down, or a spaceship or a helicopter is in there, it doesn't make any sense. And so that's because we've messed up the unity of the piece. So we don't want anything anachronistic in there or anything like that. We want to make it to where everything supports that one main idea. And that's what unity is. Now within that, what that does is it makes our listeners comfortable because we've set up these certain rules and we keep playing by those rules. And so they say, okay, I get it. This might be a crazy piece. I might not understand it, but I know generally what's going on, right? And ideally, they actually like it. So one of the ways that we can do this is by limiting the idea. So just like a character in a play or in a movie, if we were an actor and we're playing a character, we would make certain decisions about that character and we'd stick with them, right? If we'd have a particular accent, we wouldn't change the accent. We wouldn't be Irish in the middle of it when we've been having a Spanish accent the rest of the time or something like that. We wouldn't do that because we want to keep that unity, we develop that character, and we keep it throughout the entire thing. So this is the exact same way. The way that we do that is by limiting the ideas. There's a million different things we can do musically for any particular piece. The question is, which ones do we do? And we want to do the ones, we want to decide when we're playing a piece of music, what's appropriate, and then use those. Now, this is just a starting point, just before we get into the nitty-gritty and the details of pieces of music, which we will in just a second. This is a starting point, and sometimes, yes, there will be something different in a piece of music, and we'll make different musical choices for a particular spot for a particular reason, but this is a way that can govern most of the things that we do, so that if it's just a little phrase, then if we've had that same phrase somewhere else, we can do it similarly, and the listener then feels familiar with that material. So let's look at a piece of music. This is the main theme of Capriccio Arabe, or however you pronounce it. So to create unity, even between these two bars, but also in other places in the piece, we automatically make some decisions here. For instance, these are the accompaniment notes right here. So to begin with, I'm going to play those quietly. Really going to pull them back. And again, I'm playing them quietly. I'm not playing them loud the first time. And then quiet the second time. Because they're accompaniment, I want to handle them the same way. And 2 pages down the road, whenever I have the exact same thing, I want to handle it the exact same way. Another example of these is the way that we handle particular musical lines. And this is really where we get into it here. And so if we look at this bass line right here, we have D, F, E, A, D, F, E, A. So the way that I go about doing this is that I bring out the F, it's an interesting note, and slur off to the E, not like a pull off, but just taper it off so that it ends up being quiet on the E, and 1, quiet on the E. So then when I'm doing that, quiet on the E, quiet. And so then since I've got that, when this happens then again, on the third page, when we come back, we're in the major now. I can handle it the exact same way. Now I've got a way to handle that E, slurring off to the E right there, because I've already done this. I'm hearkening back to the previous. Same thing, I'm also playing the accompaniment quiet right there, which is just good balance. And so then I've created unity between those sections by handling things the exact same way. What are some other ways we could do this? Let's look at a different example. This is the opening to the Bach Cello Suite number 1. And so this, we have this arpeggio figure for 4 bars. So how we handle this, well, we also got, so we're going to play this, right? And it's its own thing. And then what we've also got is, if we look at the full page here, we've also got other places that this happens. So here we've got the arpeggio, the arpeggio, the arpeggio, the arpeggio. Well, here we have it again, same type of situation. And here, first half here, a bit in here, we go into here. So we've got this particular pattern happening all over the place. And so what we can do then is the decisions that we make for that opening section, we can carry those through every single time we have that going on. So it might be that we want to crescendo the end of this into the next harmony, as an example. So that we crescendo the last little bit into the next chord change. Well, then that means that we're going to do it here, we're going to do it here, we're going to do it here, we're going to do it wherever it happens throughout the entire piece. That's something that we can bring to it and tie the piece together. It's a glue that holds the piece together. The exact same thing. So you can do this with dynamics, the way that you do it. So any kind of phrasing, articulations, if you put a staccato in somewhere, then you could put a staccato in other places when you have the same type of thing. This is, in this particular piece, just to look at this, one of the themes of this piece is that we have these 3 notes in the scale sections, right? Because we have arpeggio sections and we have this scale, scale, scale. Well, we oftentimes will have these 3 notes, da-da-da-dum, and it happens again here, da-da-da-boom, and then it happens here, da-da-da-da-da-da, same type of thing. Here it is again. And so then what we can do is we can handle those the same way. If we want to crescendo them, we can. If we want to use a slur, then ideally we use a slur in all of them. Like this is Michael Lorimer's edition, and his slurs are completely different for each one of these. And so he obviously didn't think about the relationship between them when he was fingering it. And this is one of the things you'll see in music a lot is slurs put in places. So if you have open strings within a phrase or you have slurs within a phrase, if that same phrase happens somewhere else, maybe in a different key or something, ideally, maybe you can consider refingering it so that it's phrased similar to the other one with the slurs, because that actually does affect the sound. If there's a staccato note, if there's an open string, if some notes bleed over and continue ringing over other notes, then ideally that happens every single time. So if you have 5 passages that are all on different strings, and then all of a sudden you have one that comes in that has 2 notes on one string, it's going to poke out, it's going to pop out, and ideally that doesn't happen unless we really want it to. So it's something to consider. So this is unity, and you can just go through and find, and how do you know what to look for? You just listen and look for it, and you say, what's similar around here? What kind of decisions can I make about how to handle things, and then how can I make this all cohesive? And sometimes this will make your music more difficult, and that's the fun of it. All right, this has been Unity. Just experiment, consider it, listen for things, look for opportunities. Talk to you soon. Please subscribe to this channel. Bye-bye.